ICMTU, which is short for I Can't Make This Up, is a live comedy show hosted by AJ Dunk, spelled all caps. ICMTU brings people together from different backgrounds by sharing true stories that have happened in their lives. If you haven't already, please take a second to like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification. Also, feel free to share the video. Guest, if you would, please come in and introduce yourself.
Hello, it is I, Aileen Clark, also known as Aileen Lil Handz, as you can see on the screen. Look at these little hands.
Do you pinky promise that it's true?
I pinky promise that this story is true. I call this La Casa del Diablo, which means the devil's house. So I figured coming here, since we're in the middle of October, it's almost, Halloween-y time, and I've been filled with Latino horror stuff all over the place. I figured I'd explain a little bit of how horror in Latin America has been implanted in me. And it all began many, many years ago in Nicaragua. So I am half Nicaraguan. I went to high school in Nicaragua, and my very, very best friend, Johnny, whom I currently do my podcast with, we went to high school together. And when we were teens, he was particularly in love. I mean, he still is, but he's particularly obsessed with horror. And I was a tiny baby that was not into it at all. He was constantly shoving it down my throat, taking me to see The Exorcist when it was re-released. We went to see the Blair Witch Project. I fucking hated it. I hated it. He made me watch Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I was in hell. I loathed every minute, but because I was a good friend, I was like, okay, I'll sacrifice my sleepy nights, because I didn't sleep forever, to do this. And so another thing that we as best friends would do is we filmed everything we did. Johnny had an old-timey camcorder, which at the time was a new camcorder. Okay. So we were those assholes that were like, oh my God, just fucking talk to the camera. Isn't it going to be great? And there's footage of us just being stupid high school teens in Nicaragua talking about horror stuff. We wrote horror screenplays together. It was real nerdy, but very fun and cute, I think.
Okay.
Anyways, so in Nicaragua, Managua in particular, in specific, which is the capital, there is a house that has been known as La Casa del Diablo for many, many years. The reason it's known as La Casa del Diablo is because literally on the outside wall, as you drive by it, somebody had painted in either paint or blood, La Casa del Diablo. And it was like kind of drippy paint, and it was terrifying. And it was this huge mansion, dilapidated. It was falling apart, and it was in the middle of a big piece of like overgrown land, and obviously hadn't been touched in years. And the rumors were that back in the 80s and early 70s, when Nicaragua had a lot of political unrest and the Sandinistas were happening and we had civil war and stuff, that a high-ranking man in the military lived there, and a lot of shitty, shady shit was going on in that house. Like maybe murder, maybe torture, maybe both. So because that's like kind of was like the urban legend behind it, this house was always considered to be evil, bad, creepy, terrifying. And it looked awful. Like you pass by it and you're like, oi, no thank you. So Johnny isn't naturally from Nicaragua. He's from Bolivia and Honduras. And so when I told him this is the history behind this house, obviously him being obsessed with horror, he was like, we have to go to the house. And I was like, no, dude, are you crazy? Like, I've been warned by several people that is not a cool place to fucking go. And so he was like, no, we have to. And he happened to live not too far away from the house. So he was like, dude, we'll get my dad. He'll drive us there. So at least we'll have my dad there. And we'll take my camera and we'll fucking film it. And it'll be so cool. And we'll see if it really is La Casa del Diablo. And I was like, do you understand that this is the craziest idea? I'm not into this at all. And
until you get there.
I mean, even then I was like, my hands are cold just thinking about it again. It's just, it was awful. So Johnny was like, come on, we gotta. Oh my God, how fucking great would it be? Oh my God. And I was like, constantly saying no. He went over to his dad, Mr. Atkinson, and he's like, Dad, drive us to this house. It's not that far. You can stay in the car, leave the lights on, because also Nicaragua being the very poor country that it was and is, a lot of streets don't have a lot of street lights. And so you can go huge chunks of road with nary a light on to see besides your headlights. So I don't know.
Yeah.
This is a bad idea.
Right.
But still, bless Mr. Atkinson. He was like, okay, let's do it. So he agreed to drive our dumb asses to this fucking haunted house. And I was like shitting. I was like, I don't know. So we had 3 other friends with us, and they, of course, were also hella into it. And I was like, you guys, please can we just go? We'll park, we'll look at it, and then we'll go. And they're like, no, we're gonna go in. And when we go in, we're gonna go horde. And it was like, oh God, the devil is going to take me tonight. Make peace with your life, Aileen, because this is it. You're dying tonight. This is it. We get in the car.
Now I'm intrigued.
We get in the car and we drive to La Casa del Diablo. And Mr. Atkinson is like, okay, guys, it does look pretty dark and scary. So I'll stay here. I'll have the high beams on. You'll know I'm here. You know, be careful. And Johnny has his camera and he's in the car filming all of us. He's fucking Blair Witch Projecting it. And he's just freaking out. So excited. We get out and it's all overgrown, right? So we have to walk this tiny little path that's been like made by people walking back and forth, it seems, but it's still kind of shitty and overgrown. And we walk to it. Our 3 friends are in front of us. Johnny is next with the camera, and I'm behind Johnny pulling his shirt because I'm like, no, wait, hold on, wait, I heard something, hold on, no, wait. And he was like, dude, we gotta fucking go. So we go, we cross the front door, and it's pitch black. It's dark as night. Those headlights didn't do a goddamn thing. Yeah. Those lights, fuck those lights. They might as well not have been there. So we cross the threshold, and when our eyes, okay, and another thing, the camcorder isn't like like, you know, how iPhones have like a light, whatever. This is fucking 1999, the year 2000. So this camera, unless you have a full lighting equipment with you, like it's not gonna, yeah, it's that legit. So that shit isn't gonna help at all either. So we go in, and when our eyes finally adjust to the darkness, we see that there's right in front of us a huge like turning staircase that's going upstairs. But when you look upstairs, you can see that the roof is like coming down on itself. And like, honestly, besides it being spooky ooky, it was just hazardous for us to be in there, as like in construction terms. Like, it would have, a brick would have fallen on our head at any moment. But so there's this huge staircase leading upstairs, very grand, you know, kind of thing. And it's a huge like living area, foyer entrance. And on the walls, it's covered in writing. And it's just like everywhere. It looks like somebody has just written all over the walls. But then when you got in a little bit closer, you could see that it was like, Alejandro loves Maria. So it was definitely like teens going in to make out maybe, and we're like, oh, I love my girlfriend, or like some guy testing his tag out or whatever. So it wasn't like, I will kill my dad on the 3rd day of November. No, it was definitely people just having fun in an empty home, right? But still, I'm holding on to Johnny like, please, God, no, I don't want to. So we're looking around in this like huge room, and we see to the right that there's a door to lead into another room of the building. And the 3 friends that we were with walked in there like nothing. They're like, we own this place, we're doing it up. And it's like, you guys need to chill.
Yeah.
This isn't a game, okay? It may feel like a game to y'all. I don't think so. So they walk in, and then Johnny, because I'm pulling him at every second, he's like taking
shit is on behind you.
What?
No, I'm just joking. I'm just joking. I had to.
My heart. I've been watching too much Paranormal Activity. It's gonna kill me.
I'm sorry, I had to.
I get it. Listen, good call. You did a good job. You got me. Respect to the game. I love it. So Johnny is going to cross into this room, and he's barely through the door, where I'm still outside. Like, technically I'm still on the other side of the threshold. He's barely across the threshold. He's panning the camera around, and then I see him do this with the camera, and then with the camera he pans to the floor. And then Johnny says, there's a man in the house. Bitch, when I tell you I ran, there was an Aileen shaped hole in that wall and like a dust like cloud left behind. I was like, bye. So literally I was waiting by the car with Mr. Atkinson for a full 5 minutes before they even came back. But like, there's a man in the house. And I was like, no. See ya. So when they finally get to the car, Johnny said, what I saw was there was a man sitting cross-legged on the floor. And what this man did was he was staring forward, like straight ahead. And then he turned his head slowly to look up at Jonathan. No, bitch. No. So immediately we're all in the car. Mr. Atkinson is like, this was a bad idea. You children, like, he didn't think ghost. He thought homeless person. He thought murderer. He thought drug addict. Like, who knows, squatter, whatever. And we're like, it's a man. And Mr. Atkinson is like, I almost killed all these children. But we're in the car. Our adrenaline is full blast. We're just like, oh my God, you need to show what's in the camera. We need to see the video. It's going to be crazy. Can you believe it? We saw a man. Oh my God, it's literally El Diablo. So we get to the house. We plug in the camera to the TV to see the footage. Right?
Oh, shit.
Now I remind you, this is the old-timey camcorders where you need a full lighting equipment with you to see anything. So we couldn't see a fucking thing in the video. So even though what we saw was Johnny panning, but there was only like shadows everywhere. And then he pans to the ground and all we hear is like he rustles the camera because he gets so freaked out. And we hear, there's a man in the house. There's a man in the house. And then it's just like crazy camera footage. But we did see like hand shadows go by on the screen. And we were like, did you see that? Did you see that fucking hand? Did you see that hand? Like, we were nerding out so hard on this video. So the five of us friends, once we're in Johnny's house, processing this like visit to the house and this man and like what could have been and whatever, Johnny's dad is like, okay, guys, have fun nerding out. I'm going to go to bed. So we're in Johnny's kitchen and we're talking and we're freaking out about it. And like at this point, everything has kind of subsided a little bit. And we're just like, wow, what an experience. Now, the way Johnny's house worked.
Fuck you. Go ahead. Go ahead. I got goosebumps. I got on short so I can see that I got goosebumps. Go ahead.
So the way Johnny's house was, it was most of the rooms, including the kitchen, had a glass door that opened out into his yard that kind of like swept all around the house, right? So we were sitting in the kitchen and I was sitting at the head of the table. No, lies. I was sitting at like the closest right-hand seat to the head of the table. One of our friends is at the head. Everybody else was kind of scattered, like talking, eating a snack maybe. And as we're talking and relaxing at this point, our friend that was sitting at the head of the table looks directly across to the glass door and he says, "What's that?" And we all look and this huge shape, just a dark shape in the darkness, is slowly walking up to the glass door. And literally all of us scream bloody murder and like run into Johnny's house and we're like, what the fuck is that? Like, what the fuck? And then we hear cackling, like absolute cackling laughter. And Johnny's like, Aileen, come back. I was like, fuck that shit. Johnny's dad had taken a fucking blanket and he came to fucking scare the shit out of us dumb ass kids because we were freaking out. And we went back in the kitchen and Mr. Atkinson was just, he was doubled over. My guy couldn't believe that he had the chance to do it. He fucked with us good. And like, it was honestly, again, respect. He nailed it.
What you do, AJ? Don't